bring you some update to the news this morning. Now, government is facing a storm of controversy surrounding U.S. deportees, with tensions escalating dramatically. The national organizer of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Nana Boakye, is firing all cylinders, threatening to hold the Mahama administration back to the Supreme Court over alleged blatant disregard for Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution. Nana Boakye accuses the government of repeating the constitutional violation that led to the landmark Guantanamo II case, where the Supreme Court ruled against the administration for accepting Guantanamo Bay detainees without parliamentary approval. In a strongly worded statement, Nana Boakye accused President Mahama, the Attorney General, and Foreign Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa of showing recklessness disregard for both parliamentary and Supreme Court decisions. Now, I'll take you to that statement this morning, which was posted on his Facebook. He said, in 2016, myself and Madam Margaret Bamfo, with Honorable Nana Ejeba for Iwa as our lawyer, while the plaintiffs in the Supreme Court case of Margaret Bamfo and Henry Nana Boakye versus the Attorney General, and that writ was in 2016, as we have said. It continues to say the action challenged the legality of President Mahama entering into an agreement with the USA to receive two former detainees of Guantanamo Bay into the Republic of Ghana without parliamentary approval under Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution. Now, the Supreme Court declared the action of the then Mahama administration as unconstitutional and illegal. Says, I will therefore be heading back to the Supreme Court to seek an enforcement of Article 75 of the Constitution in order to abate the ongoing assault on the Constitution by the executive. I have instructed my lawyers, Nana Ejeba for Ewa and Lenin Anani Ejay, to commence the process. This flagrant disregard of our Constitution and the Supreme Court must not be allowed to fester. And the language of Article 75 is perfectly clear. The article forms part of the set provisions governing the role of the executive arm of government in Ghana's international relations. The scope of the article deals with treaties in general, and the body of the text makes reference to treaties, agreements, and conventions. And that will be the post that you may have cited, or we're just telling you about the national organizer of the NPP. But away from that, air pollution is a silent assassin in Ghana, silently shaving off almost a year from every citizen's life. Shockingly, new data reveals it's now among the top 6 killers in the country, a grim statistic that demands urgent attention. The Air Quality Life Index paints a dire picture. Ghana's air pollution, or Ghana's air quality, is more than double the World Health Organization's safe limit, putting millions at a risk of succumbing to deadly diseases like asthma, lung cancer, heart diseases, and strokes. Clean Air Beat reporter Michael Ashale has more in this report.
Air pollution is silently cutting life short in Ghana. A global report, Air Quality Life Index from the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago, says the country's dirty air now ranks among the top killers, stealing nearly a year of life from every Ghanaian. The WHO guideline for safe air is just 5 micrograms per meter cube. Ghana is at 12.5, more than double the WHO safe limit. Experts warn this puts millions at risk of heart disease, strokes, and cancer. Tanushri Ganguly is the director of the Air Quality Life Index program at EPIC.
What we are seeing in terms of impacts on life expectancy are derived through satellite estimates. And these satellite estimates also rely on what data is available through ground monitoring data. So without ground monitoring data, we also are a little uncertain about how close we are to the actual kind of pollution levels that people are breathing in this part of the world. So it's highly likely that I'm saying that, people in Ghana are losing 9.6 months of their life expectancy because of of air pollution, but the true burden of pollution could be much higher, and that would only become visible if more data is generated for the region. Yes, so OT and Ashanti region are where we are seeing the most highest impact of air pollution. So people are losing about 1 year of their life expectancy in this region. And one thing that really caught my eye was that particularly in the Ashanti region, between 1998 and 2023, so in this sort of period of 26 years, pollution has increased by almost 20%. So, which is a significant sort of concern that needs to be paid attention to because it seems to be also following an increasing trend.
Air pollution is now counted among Ghana's top 6 killers. It shortens more lives than unsafe water, alcohol, road crashes, and even tobacco. Only malnutrition, malaria, HIV/AIDS, and unsafe sex are higher. Across West Africa, Nigeria records the biggest impact, while Togo also sits above Ghana in life years lost to air pollution. Ghana has just passed its first ever national air quality standard, but experts say standards mean nothing without enforcement.
Many countries around the world focus on generating data, but then don't know what to do with it, right? So the first piece is to actively integrate data into decision making. What are you doing with that data becomes very, very important. The second is follow the science on where pollution is coming from. There are source attribution studies which are being conducted, and these studies, they generate wealth of information on which are the most polluting causes of pollution in a region. These studies need to form the foundation for any policy response to action. So the second is following the science on where pollution is coming from. And the third is, of course, it's great that the Parliament in Ghana has already introduced the air quality management regulation. The focus now should be on ensuring that the provisions in that law are robustly enforced.
The message is clear. Cleaning up the air could give Ghanaians back nearly a year of life. But it will take political will and real investment to stop pollution from silently stealing Ghana's future. For Joy News, Michael Ashale. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content.
While still in the news, climate change continues to devastate communities across Africa and Asia, but a new approach known as locally led adaptation is proving that sustainable solutions are best driven by the people who live with the crisis daily. The Climate and Development Knowledge Network has been assessing the impact of this strategy with some of its partners. MFA Atiamwa Eli reports.
Scorching heat, rising seas, failed crops, and recurring floods. These are the realities many communities face daily. For years, climate experts have prescribed solutions from afar. But how sustainable have these truly been? That question brought together over 45 participants from across Africa and Asia to Kenya. Hosted by the Climate and Development Knowledge Network, they reflected on how communities themselves are shaping change through locally led adaptation. From modern sanitation projects in Bangladesh, forest conservation in Cameroon and Benin, to science-based climate education in Ghana, participants discussed innovative solutions built with local ownership. But perhaps the strongest evidence was in Machakos County, Kenya. Faced with erratic rainfall, residents built a stone barrier across a river, creating a reservoir that now provides irrigation for more than 5,000 people. Pastor James Maria is the chairman of the World Climate Change Planning Committee in Machakos.
We also involve the community. For example, in a particular area, we might go in the particular area, see the area, and maybe call the community. What would you want us to do for you from this area? Then they will say it. Then we write a proposal, particularly on what the community is interested in. That way. So that it is accepted. Yes. Because if you bring something they don't know or they don't accept, it will be yours. And
for farmers like Jacqueline Kambua, the impact has been life-changing.
Situation ilikuwa mbaya.
The situation here was worse, but when we got this where we got water and everything is
hatuna
okay.
hiyo stress ya maji, tuko sawa.
We had no water before this well was constructed. We had no water. Actually, we were fetching water from far, far away to get this water. So I think this project, we have been benefiting so much.
Young people in the community say they find purpose and steady work through irrigation and farming. While the Nairobi gathering called for climate financing and stronger partnerships to replicate these success stories, the Climate and Development Knowledge Network hopes communities do not become just recipients of aid, but leaders of adaptation, building resilience from the ground up. Fatima Rajbali is the Africa lead for CDKN.
We are thankful to the Governor Machakos for creating this opportunity for us. It has really enabled us to understand how the communities and the government, the county government, have to work hand in hand to not only co-design a process, but also implement the project, keeping in mind the sustainability of what comes not only whilst there are resources available, but also utilizing the skills, the capacities, and the economic interests of the communities as well.
On the whole, participants are convinced that locally led interventions have shown strong potential to guarantee sustainability and deliver life-changing results. They believe such approaches must be leveraged in the global fight against climate change. Amafa Ewenam Atiamwa Eli for Joy News, Machakos County, Kenya.
Now, the District Director of Education for Dafiama, Busie Isa Michael Nyaba Ayamdo, has raised alarm over a worrying decline in boys' enrollment at the basic school level as many abandoned classrooms for illegal mining in search for quick fortunes. Now, speaking at Olo during the handing over a renovated classroom block by the WA Cooperative Community Credit Union, he cautioned that if the trend continues unchecked, it could have dire consequences for local communities and the nation's fortunes. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam has more in this report.
Oloro Makalek RC Junior High School was opened in 1987. Since its opening, it has never seen any form of renovation. The ripple effect is the partial ripping off of the roof, the cement on the ground floor completely eroded, and windows worn off, thereby making teaching and learning difficult. However, the WA Community Cooperative Credit Union, WACU, through their Enya Farming Group in Ulu, has come to rescue the school by renovating the building, putting it in the best of shape, and replacing blackboards with whiteboards. Dr. Abraham Abemendakura is the supervising manager of WACU.
This group is really committed, and they have shown that group coming together, working together, a lot can be achieved. Some groups decided to back out when we decided to give the farmers equipment support instead of money, because farmers need tractors to plow, they need good seed, they need fertilizer. So when we stopped giving farmers cash, some groups decided to back out. But the Enye group remained resolute, and every year they have since been taking their loans to do their farming, and they have been repaying without any problems.
Dafiema Bure is a district director of education. Michael Nyaba Ayamba was commending WACU for the kind gesture, admonished parents to care for the boys in basic schools as their numbers over the years have drastically reduced.
The girls far outnumber the boys. It is true that statistical service tells us these days the females are more than the males. But the margin is not the gap that we are seeing. What we are seeing is artificial. It means something is not going well. And that information that I've gotten is that when the boys get to P5, P6, heading to JSS, and their muscles are becoming relatively stronger, they are pushed to go and look for greener pastures. My appeal to the community is, let us not forget the boy child, or else one day we are going to suffer it dearly.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cooperative Credit Union Association, Cyprian K. Basson, asserted that the aim of credit unions is to see to the development of their members through initiatives.
Credit unions are cooperatives. We bring pool resources together and ensure that our members through that develop themselves. We are a self-help group. We help ourselves.
Board Chairman of WACU, John Kofisedu, spoke of the essence of celebrating the 60th anniversary.
Acting in line with one of the principles of cooperatives, which says concern for the community. Wherever you operate, you must also show some commitment to the people.
WACU, as part of their 60th anniversary celebration, has supported various communities by renovating facilities such as the police station in Dormo, the Ocho Hospital canteen, the wards facilities at the Wanas Palace, and the Ulo RC Junior High School. The Ulo RC Junior High School was commissioned with joy and happiness, and the head teacher of the school, Samara Daniela Chanawe, expressed gratitude to WACU. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Wolo.
Now, a Ghanaian sports scientist and education advocate Emmanuel Ajay has made history with his daring Bike to My Roots project, cycling from Munich, Germany to Ghana in just 103 days to raise 100,000 euros in support of grassroots education. Now, the extraordinary journey in aid of EduSport, a transformative network reshaping rural education in Ghana, symbolizes not just endurance but also hope for underserved communities. Speaking to Joy News during a stop in Elmina, Ajay explained that every pedal on his 103 days ride was fueled by his determination to give children in deprived areas a brighter future.
A sports scientist, philanthropist, and education advocate, Emmanuel Ajay is on a mission to improve education at the grassroots level. Cycling across 15 countries for his history-making project, Bike to My Roots, Emmanuel Ajay is seeking to raise 100,000 euros to support the activities of EduSport, a growing grassroots movement that is redefining education across rural Ghana. He tells details about the Bike to My Roots project and his partnership with EduSport.
So the partnership with EduSport was easy to forge. Cycling is a very important tool, especially in Europe, to raise awareness and funds for a lot of things. So you can use it to raise funds for people with certain kind of diseases that are difficult to treat. So you can also use it ecological purposes. So I knew of this benefit and I said, okay, I enjoy cycling so much. I'm a sports scientist. It's what I do every single year. So how about I use it, channel that power that it's got, right, into mobilizing funds, awareness, to help developmental projects in my community, in my country, through education and empowerment. So I decided, okay, I'm going to cycle from Germany, this time all the way back to my roots. So I called the project Bike to My Roots. Well, the target was to raise 100,000 euros because I don't want to dream small, I want to dream big. And I knew the potential of this project was just so great, and I didn't want to put it in a small bottle. So far, we are hitting close to 20,000 euros. So it's just about 20% through, but it is still a significant amount of funds to raise for educational initiatives.
William Donko, the Literacy and Digital Skill Coordinator for EduSport Elmina Sport, shares hopes of acquiring digital tools and devices for learners across the country through the project.
Together with the Bike to My Roots campaign, we are looking forward to providing digital tools and devices for learners across Ghana, and then into partnership with the Ghana Library Authority at Teshi. So this is really important because it helps us and also provide and help us to promote future-ready education for learners across Ghana, especially in deprived communities.
Through the Bike to My Roots project, Emmanuel Ejay has become the first African to cycle solo from Germany to Ghana in a historic 10,000-kilometer journey.
Let's bring you some business updates. Now, the Finance Minister, Dr. Cassiel Atuforsen, has assured that Ghana's borrowing strategy will remain disciplined and focused on transformation as the country records significant progress in debt sustainability. The following report has more.
The Finance Minister made this known during a meeting with the President of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Abdelkader Al-Musaibi, in Accra. Dr. Forsen stressed that new borrowing will be directed strictly towards projects with lasting economic and social impact rather than consumption. Ghana's total public debt declined from 763.8 billion Ghana cedis, which is 64.9% of GDP, in July 2024 to 628.8 billion Ghana cedis, which is 44.9% of GDP, in July 2025, according to data from the Bank of Ghana. Highlighting infrastructure as a key priority, the minister pointed to the planned Accra-Kumasi motorway project, explaining that feasibility studies are underway and the road is expected to be completed within 2.5 years. On his part, Badia President Al-Musaibi commended the minister's focus on sustainability and transformation and pledged the bank's readiness to support the large-scale project of such economic importance.
Also in Business Update this morning, the Management Development and Productivity Institute has intensified its stakeholder engagement efforts as part of a renewed drive to boost productivity and support Ghana's national development agenda. At a special breakfast meeting themed Reconnecting for Growth, Revitalizing Partnerships for Enhanced Productivity, MDPI's Director General, Professor Elijah Yendau, told Joy Business that the Institute's collaboration with key partners will enhance institutional performance and contribute significantly to national growth.
I think today we organize a breakfast meeting with various human resource managers of Ghanaian organizations, ranging from Bank of Ghana. We had MPRA, we have Minister of Finance, Komsky, Ghana Water Company, and several other big companies who are our players. So at MDPI, Management Development and Productivity Institute, you know what generally what we do is we build capacity training for various public and private organizations. We undertake consultancy and advisory services for both private and public sector. We also do productivity related studies and researches. And so we realize that it has come to a time where we need to reconnect with particularly our players within the industry. So we realize that some organizations that used to come to us for training and capacity building for some time now have not connected with us.
Well, this is how we wrap the news, but quickly we'll leave you with how the market and the currency are doing on the market.